Hey folks, Jiminy Critic here once again with a movie review for you. I really enjoyed this movie. It was rather intriguing to me that we're going to talk about today. It's called The Ghostwriter. I don't know if you've heard of this one or not. It hasn't got a lot of hype, but it's out there. It's been out there a couple of weeks, and I want to explain to you a little bit why I enjoyed this movie so much. It falls under the drama, mystery, thriller category. This movie, The Ghostwriter, is directed by, of course, the controversial director Roman Polanski, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with some of his work. The movie The Pianist, The Ninth Gate, or some recent ones. Back in the day, he directed, of course, the horror thriller Rosemary's Baby, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown. So he has quite a few movies that have been hits and just have lasted throughout the years in the 70s and beyond. Well, this is his newest venture, The Ghostwriter, and it's rated PG-13. It just has some adult themes, a little bit of adult language here and there, and some intensity of the scenes, but nothing really terribly graphic or, horrible to watch. I think it's just the mood of the movie and kind of the adult themes of what's going on. It just comes in over 2 hours long, 125 minutes. Here's some of the folks that are in this movie that Polanski cast as characters. You've got Ewan McGregor. Of course, everybody knows Ewan McGregor. He's a great actor. He plays the guy, and he's called just the Ghost in this movie. Kim Cattrall, a lot of you know her from the TV show Sex and the City and the movie Sex and the City she's been in recently. She is in this as a personal assistant of Pierce Brosnan's, Amelia Bly. Pierce Brosnan is in this movie, very good actor, a lot of people enjoy him. Plays Adam Lang, who is a former prime minister in Britain, and part of this movie you'll see as we talk about this is he's out of that job right now and retired, so to speak, but why was he such a great friend and ally and tried to promote U.S. interests so much over Britain? Tom Wilkinson has a cameo role in this movie, and man, he is always so powerful and good and when he performs, and he's really great as Paul Emmett in this movie. Here's the basic story here. Ewan McGregor is hired as a ghostwriter, and if you know what that is, a guy who will actually put down on paper, he'll talk to a subject who wants to write a book about his life, do his memoirs, whatever you want to call it, but the guy won't actually sit down and write it with a pen or on a computer himself. They hire somebody, the ghostwriter, to do this. And so this character of Pierce Brosnan's, Adam Lang, a former British Prime Minister, is now in retirement, and he's a very controversial figure because, we're talking about the time he was in there during the time of the beginning of the Iraq War, and so many people are thinking that was just a fake war and a bad war to get into, both in the U.S. and Britain. Of course, we hear those controversies. Well, he's got a very controversial life, and what had happened was he was starting his memoirs with another writer, and during the process, somewhere in the beginning couple of weeks, the writer mysteriously took a head dive off the cliffs or out the window there and ended up dying, and they were calling it a suicide. He killed himself in the midst of writing about these memoirs. But there's a little bit of controversy. Did he really kill himself? Was he killed? Was he put to death? Did he discover something in doing his research about Adam Lang, Pierce Brosnan's character, that they kind of needed to take him out, if you know what I mean? Well, Ewan McGregor is the second in the lineup of the ghostwriters for this story, and that's where it gets intriguing. He starts to do all of his interviews, his research, and they're very tight about how they keep this manuscript and where they lock it up and where they keep it. Nobody can have any hands on it except the writer and Lang. And the way Polanski directs this, there's just a feeling of fear, of dread, of something's going on under the surface that you can't quite figure out. I'm not going to reveal how the movie ends, if the memoir gets written, if it's true, if it's fictional, if Ewan McGregor makes it, doesn't make it, whatever. I need you to take the time to check out this well-done movie, The Ghostwriter.